This is the most beautiful place on earth. Why? Because a man did something that no one has ever done before. She was his favorite among his many wives, but she died giving birth to their 14th child. Heartbroken by her death, Shah Jahan decided that he would build a magnificent tomb for her in the city of Agra, which was also his capital at the time. The construction began in 1632 and lasted for the next 2 decades. The main dome is 240 feet in diameter and 180 feet high, and it's surrounded by 4 minarets, each 130 feet tall. The entire structure is perfectly symmetrical, and it's set in a garden with fountains and trees arranged in geometric patterns. But the most impressive part of the Taj Mahal is the white marble that covers the entire structure. The marble was brought from a quarry in Rajasthan, and it was cut and polished by hand. Marble is a soft stone, and it's easily damaged by pollution and acid rain. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to check out some of our other videos about ancient places. He chose the city of Agra as the location for the tomb, and construction began immediately. It took 22 years to complete and involved 20,000 workers. The materials were brought from far away, and the design was inspired by Islamic art and architecture. The result was a stunning structure made entirely of white marble. The answer, however, is quite simple. Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal were buried together in the same tomb, but their remains aren't in one single coffin. Instead, their bodies are entombed in separate chambers on different levels of the Taj Mahal. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. All we know is that they're in separate chambers on different levels of the Taj Mahal. There are a few possible explanations. For one, it was common for wealthy Muslims to be buried in separate chambers. Their individual tombs are now some of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, and visitors from all over the globe come to Agra to pay tribute to the eternal love of the Mughal Emperor and his beloved wife. This allowed them to have more control over their burial site, and ensured that their remains would be well cared for. Additionally, it may have been a way to honor Mumtaz Mahal by giving her a more prominent burial chamber. Since she was Shah Jahan's favorite wife, he may have wanted to ensure that she received the most prestigious burial spot in the tomb. Finally, it's possible that the separate burial chambers were simply a practical consideration. By burying Shah Jahan on a lower level, it allowed for more space in the main chamber for visitors to pay their respects to Mumtaz Mahal. It's possible that their remains were moved at some point in history, but we have no evidence to support this theory. Shah Jahan, on the other hand, was buried in a separate chamber on a lower level. He was a courtier of Shah Jahan, and he wrote several letters detailing the construction of the Taj Mahal. In one of his letters dated March 6, he mentioned that a platform had been built in the center of the main chamber for placing the emperor's coffin. However, there is no evidence that Shah Jahan's body was ever moved to the Taj Mahal. Instead, he was likely buried there after his death in 1660. This was done for a few reasons. First of all, it was customary for the emperor to be buried in a separate chamber from his wife. Secondly, it allowed for more space in the main chamber for Mumtaz Mahal's coffin. Finally, it made it easier to access her tomb, since the main chamber was on the ground floor, while Shah Jahan's was in the basement. Today, it's one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, but the Taj Mahal is not without its problems. The marble is being eaten away by acid rain and pollution, and the government is working hard to preserve this precious monument. If you want to see the Taj Mahal for yourself, go soon. It might not be around forever. If we don't do something to protect the Taj Mahal, it could be destroyed within our lifetime. That's why the Indian government has taken drastic measures to preserve this precious monument. They've evicted cars and factories near the Taj Mahal, and they've reinvesting millions of dollars into cleaning up the Yamuna River, which flows behind the tomb. But it's not too late. If you want to see the Taj Mahal for yourself, you should visit soon. It might not be around forever. The result is a smooth, creamy white surface that reflects the light beautifully. He built a tomb for his wife, and he called it the Taj Mahal. It took 22 years to build. Its white marble was brought from 300 miles away. He made it the new capital of his empire, and it became one of the largest cities in the world at the time. Every year, millions of people visit this magnificent structure and are amazed by its beauty. But the Taj Mahal wasn't always so well known. First of all, the Taj Mahal is simply stunning to look at. Its white marble and symmetrical design make it one of the most beautiful buildings in the world. But the Taj Mahal is more than just a pretty building. It's a symbol of eternal love. The story of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal is a tragic one, but their love story has resonated with people throughout history. No matter what language or culture you're from, you can't help but be moved by the Taj Mahal. In fact, for many years it was hidden away from the public eye. That's because the Mughal Empire declined after Shah Jahan's death and the Taj Mahal fell into disrepair. But in the early 19th century, British explorer Alexander Burns rediscovered the tomb, and it quickly became a popular tourist destination. But unfortunately, Shah Jahan never got to see the Taj Mahal completed. You see, while the Taj Mahal was still being built, Shah Jahan's son, Aurangzeb, rebelled against him and took the throne. When Shah Jahan heard that his son had betrayed him, he locked himself in his bedroom and refused to eat or drink until he died. He spent his last years staring at the unfinished Taj Mahal from his window, and when he died, he was buried next to his beloved wife in the tomb. Well, it is all written down in a letter by one of Shah Jahan's courtiers named Muhammad Amin. You see, the marble that was used to build the Taj Mahal came from a quarry 300 miles away, and these quarries were only accessible by foot, so you can imagine the dedication it took to get the marble to the construction site. It took a team of 20,000 men working in shifts to finish the tomb in time. Each team consisted of 1,000 men who worked for 10 days and then rested for 20 days. There were teams of stonecutters, woodworkers, bricklayers, plasterers, painters, carpet makers, and gardeners, and they all worked tirelessly to complete the project. But despite the hard work, nobody complained, because everyone was proud to be part of such a magnificent project. He wrote on Friday the 12th of Ramazan in the year 1041, which is January 1632 in our calendar, His Majesty set the foundation of the building of the black and white marble mausoleum of the late Empress, Mumtaz Mahal. In his letter dated March 1653, he updated the Emperor's son on the progress of the construction. He wrote, "The whole structure has been completed except for the laying of the marble and other embellishments." And finally, on November 1653, he wrote, "All the work of the building is finished, and only a few minor things remain. At present, 4 elephants are engaged in bringing marble from the quarries." So it took 22 years to finish this great palace. Its design was so complex that over 20,000 workers had to work in shifts to build it, and its symmetry was so precise that astronomers used the tomb to align their telescopes with the stars. But how did this magical palace come to be? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tell you about today. This is the full story of the Taj Mahal. It all started when an Indian emperor named Shah Jahan fell madly in love with a woman named Mumtaz Mahal. But how do we know that? And to make it even more impressive, all the materials were brought from far away. The architect behind the Taj Mahal's design is unknown, but we know that it was inspired by Islamic art and architecture. When Shah Jahan first saw the finished Taj Mahal, he was so pleased that he ordered a new city to be built nearby called Shah. Today, the Taj Mahal is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. But why is it so popular? Well, there are many reasons. But unfortunately, the Taj Mahal isn't safe. You see, the white marble that makes the tomb so beautiful is also its biggest weakness. So what do you think? Is the Taj Mahal the most beautiful place on earth? Let us know in the comments below. In 1632, the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan decided to build a tomb for his third wife Mumtaz Mahal, who had died giving birth to their 14th child. Over the years, the Taj Mahal fell into disrepair, but in the early 19th century, it was rediscovered and opened to the public. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of our other videos about ancient places. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Now, where were they buried? Well, that's a question that's been asked by historians for centuries. You see, when Mumtaz Mahal died, she was placed in a coffin and buried in the main chamber of the tomb. But how do we know that? Well, it's all thanks to one man named Muhammad Amin. But where exactly are their tombs located? Unfortunately, we don't know the exact location of their tombs. But why did Shah Jahan choose to bury his wife in a separate chamber? Whatever the reason, the decision to bury Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal in separate chambers has left a lasting legacy.